I have to wear work clothes in the office after hours? Okay, enjoy losing the account. I like to keep fit. So, after my work day, I usually go for a run in the nearby park. I have stayed away from gyms, especially during COVID. When my day is over, I slip into the women's room to change and then leave immediately. Except there was this one day, a few weeks ago, when someone, Becky, on another team was having trouble running macros in Excel. I don't know the specifics of the document, but suffice to say, it was the final piece of the puzzle for a big account. So, having changed and on my way out, I hear Becky call me over and asked for some help before I left. She's a good kid, new to the company. So of course, I stopped to explain a few things. That's when her team leader, Louis, stops me and says that I shouldn't be in the office working in my workout clothes. I'm not wearing anything too immodest, but I am wearing clothes suited for running, so sports bra and shorts. I don't want to brag, but I am in good shape and rather well endowed. Louis is sort of a middle manager who isn't powerful enough to be a kingmaker, but just powerful enough to cause a stink about company policies. He's also a repressed prude. I explain that I was on my way out, not just hanging out to work, and stopped to help Becky. Louis is nearing none of it. He insists that I either change back to my work clothes or leave the premises immediately. I'm not going to let Louis push me around, so I apologize to Becky and leave the building. Later on, I learn that night was a deadline for some client deliverables and Louis's team didn't make it, costing the company the account and lots of money. Low 6 digits annually. Louis was fired for losing the account and for making Becky do a part of the project that she wasn't qualified to do, and that he was supposed to do himself. Becky's still with the company, and she and I are now paired in a mentorship program. I wish I could say that I jog past Louis sitting on a bench in the park every evening, but things don't always tie up that neatly.
Now to the comments. Louis can wear whatever he wants in the unemployment line.
Actually, he probably can't. A lot of unemployment offices have dress codes, so he probably has to dress up to not go to work.
What gets me is that he wouldn't listen to you enough to actually process the information, or maybe he did, but being reasonable is in opposition to lording it over someone when the opportunity arises. Good job all around, OP, as you showed all your strengths.
Nah. Boobs made him too uncomfortable to hear. Happens all the time in work settings and school settings, sadly.
Reminds me when in high school the principal wanted to readjust the uniform policy for the females to have skirts down to their ankles because he didn't want to keep having to look up their skirts when he ascends the stairs. Frankly, that Louis's team was that far behind on their schedule that they were struggling in the last few hours showed that they were not competent. If they had to deliver by that night, the last day or two should have been for double-checking work and making sure it was right/presentable. The panic late hours should have been 3 to 4 days before that evening. So, Louis was just incompetent and certainly not a good team leader anyway.
Yep, it was part of the fallout that he got in trouble for the work he assigned Becky. Doesn't seem like Becky got in trouble for needing and asking for help.
Nope. Wasn't Becky's fault. Was the boss's fault for A, leaving this piece to the last minute, B, giving this crucial bit of work to the new girl when it's actually his to deal with, C, witching the person who is obviously on her way out of the door and stop to help the new girl out with the work she shouldn't have been doing in the first place, and D, losing the contract because of it. My ex delivers alcohol for a living. A very fancy hotel was one of his stops years ago. There is no official uniform per se for delivery drivers at his company, but they are all encouraged to wear t-shirts with the logos of the alcohol they distribute. So fancy hotel got a new loading dock manager. Hubs showed up and started unloading the 375 cases that they had ordered. There was a wedding there that weekend. Well, new loading dock manager threw a fit that he wasn't in a suit and tie. Told him to leave. He called his dispatcher, explained the situation and waited outside for it to be resolved. It wasn't resolved by Hubs delivering the alcohol as ordered and needed. The new loading dock manager refused to allow him to unload in a t-shirt and work pants, so dispatcher cancelled the order. Well, 2 days later, the big politico's daughter's wedding happened, and guess what? No bar, because none of the alcohol was delivered. Hotel lost a ton of money, tons of business, and loading dock manager was fired.
That is absurd. What kind of dock worker works with suit and tie? Wouldn't tie be work hazard in such environment?
Hey, you like running? Can you run these macros? So did Louis roll up to the desk like, oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. Nice. One could say you had full redress. Sounds like precisely the event that was needed to bring his dickishness to the surface. Presumably the pressure of the deadline and the fact that you were clearly more functional than him while also being in gym kit / about to go for a run, likely triggered him. Imagine sending somebody away who is critical to get your account secured, cutting your nose to spite your face. Nice job, extra satisfying in that justice was properly served and new girl wasn't thrown under the bus. He probably tried to though.
Oh, it totally sounds like he did. Louis was fired for losing the account and for making Becky do a part of the project that she wasn't qualified to do, and that he was supposed to do himself. Lucky Louis' boss saw through his BS and gave Becky better support going forward.
Oh, Louis very much tried to, and failed, and the correct people won. They say every time a worthless middle manager eats shit, an angel gets its wings.
I love this.
See, the real crime was he foisted his work off on an underling. Had she managed it, he was going to take credit. His plan crashed and burned. Based on your post history, this entire story is cosplay nonsense.
Someone gonna cosplay as Louis? I'm both interested and not interested in this.
Great fallout, and I used to exercise over my lunch hour, which definitely meant some time in the office in exercise clothes, so I get it. Louis wasn't 100% in the wrong in this instance though, just 98% wrong. Dudes can run shirtless in the park but should keep their shirts on until they leave the office building. Similarly, walking around the office in just a sports bra, no shirt over, is a bit much too. My gym doesn't even allow shirtless or sports bra only exercise, sans pool, of course, and it's a typical / public gym. That's not really work appropriate, even for just passing through.
I'm someone who is all for showy clothing, but when I would change into my personal life clothes after work, sometimes clubbing outfits too, I would always slip out the back instead of going through the front. If I had to swing by on my day off for some reason, I never wore anything more immodest than shorts. What if I ran into the company president? In the office, half-clothed, helping someone? My contract states that I must be in work clothes in the office. My manager and I would both get an absolute earful if someone of high status saw me, or if a client complained.
How is a sports bra okay? If he was leaving to go swimming and walked up to you in a Speedo, I'm sure this post would be different. If it's a bra, wear a top over it. Pretty simple. Management and their idiocy in regards to uniform, especially when you're not even on the clock. One time, I came early into work wearing a white pair of sneakers instead of black ones. I just wanted to grab something to drink and go chill in my car before starting my shift. My boss's boss was there and immediately chewed me out for wrong color shoes. Even after I told her I wasn't on the clock yet, I kept my nasty black shoes in the car and changed shoes before and after my shift. She still continued lecturing me about proper uniform because she wasn't going to back down in front of my manager and staff.
Should have made sure they clocked you in early for that.
That would have been such a power move. 1 second, if you're going to waste my time, I should be getting paid for it, let me clock in real quick. Great malicious compliance. So. No shirt? Just sports bra and shorts? I would prepare myself for more interactions where co-workers in the office talk to you about your attire. And the not bragging but I am well endowed part of the story is relevant somehow.
It's significant to the story because it tells the reader that it's written by a guy LMAO.
I don't think I have ever heard a woman refer to herself as well endowed. You're onto something.